Hey there, I'm glad I talked with my mother a little earlier, about 2 hours ago. I'm really glad we had that talk. It was not what I was originally planning on doing, but I said, let's try to be really reasonable, let's try to be really nice about this. And I called her and I told her, I I know what you threw out. I know what you took to the dump. And she started crying, and I told her just how much it hurt me. I told her, you took everything that was positive about my childhood and took it to the dump. You took my music masters to the dump. And she was just bawling. She told me that the past several days she's been very sick to her stomach. She's barely been able to sleep. And she was saying she didn't want to tell me because of all the stuff that I've been going through out here. I just don't think she really realized how happy I've been here. And I talked to her a lot about that. Hey, I love this place that I'm at. I really would have preferred if you would have just told me when you did that. Because it wouldn't have felt like you were being really, really nasty. Not that what she did wasn't nasty, but she has been trying to get out of that house. She's trying to sell the house. And she was really starting to work at it last year. But while I was gone, staying at the place that I was for 8 months, and now I'm here, she has been kind of desperate as to how to get everything out of the house. She has a lot of really bad memories at that house. Particularly, she's reminded of my grandma all the time. My grandma put her bed in the kitchen and demanded to be in the kitchen. She died in 2007, but she wanted that much control over everyone in the house. So if anyone was up when she went to bed, she could, you couldn't even go get something out of the refrigerator without potentially waking her up, and then she can, start bitching about how she has to change her life around us, even though it's pretty much the other way around, and she's made it. Oh, she was just so nasty. None of our relatives would come by to visit. My grandmother alienated all of our relatives. In fact, she alienated our neighbors, my mom's neighbors. One of the neighbors, when they were trying to sell the house, my grandma would start talking about badly about different things to the people that were wanting to buy the house. That one neighbor, they were just this close to starting a lawsuit against my grandmother. And then their house sold, and they said, okay, we'll drop this. We won't worry about this. We'll just never talk to you again. But my mom has so many bad memories associated with that household. She was getting rid of all the things of hers that were reminders of days of the past. And it seems that she was so desperate to get rid of those memories that she was willing to get rid of other people's memories. It's not an excuse. There's really no excuse for the way she did that. Especially since every time I would see her, and she would ask about those cassettes and ask about the tapes, I would tell her how important they were to me. And what they mean to me. And I had to be very upfront with her about some things. She's been continually looking for other houses to move to go live at. And her physicality is at the point where that's just not a good idea. She needs to get an apartment or an assisted living apartment. And if she wants to still use tools, she needs to find an apartment that you can have a garage. And then don't park in the garage, but use it for some storage and for doing things with tools. She reluctantly agreed. She knows I'm right about that. She knows that physically her body is continuing to kind of deteriorate. She's also been having a lot of memory issues. And my grandfather, on my mother's side, died of Alzheimer's, or things related to Alzheimer's. I mean, she don't actually die from the memory things, memory getting messed up. It's all the stuff that comes with that. And she's been having signs of it. And he was the same, close to the same age as she. Actually, I think he might have been a little younger than she is right now when he died. So she knows she really knows now that it's a house going into trying to get another house is just not a good idea. And we talked about the kinds of things that she needs to be getting rid of. Talked about, you probably want to get rid of all this really huge furniture that you've got. And you're probably going to want to get, eventually you replace that with, some IKEA-sized stuff. She knows she really, really needs to downsize. We talked about different services that are available to help someone get a lot of their stuff out of the house. She has a whole Thomasville bedroom set that, maybe she can sell that. Maybe not for very much, but maybe she can sell it. It's in good condition. It's in really good condition. So, I feel really good that I called her and I did not go with my original plan, and I feel really good that I was actually able to help her. Because she's not doing so well. I'm hoping that maybe tonight she'll actually get some sleep. So I'm glad I didn't go with what my brother had. I didn't come to the same exact conclusions as my brother. Part of me did, but other parts did not. I have to thank Tyler for giving me some input on this. I was calling him to let him know what the situation was. Hadn't talked to him since I left, really. And he gave some good advice. So my brother is one of the most paranoid people I've ever known. Just so paranoid. He's actually a lot more messed up than I am. But in a very, very, very different way. He was, the firstborn. He's 5 years older than me. And he ran away 3 times by the time he was 16. He wasn't having that emasculated shit. He wasn't putting up with that. But because he was rebelling so much at that age, there's a whole bunch of shit that he should have learned that he didn't. And he also turned out very, very, very misogynistic. He doesn't think he's misogynistic. I don't even, he doesn't think he's misogynistic. 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 he doesn't even know what the word means. He can fix a lot of things, but he's kind of anti-intellectual to some degree. His spelling and his knowledge, and it just reminds me of someone that didn't even go to high school. So, and he didn't finish high school, but he did go to it. It just seems like his education stopped at what, 8th grade or something, 7th grade. I don't know why I'm going into that, but God, he's so paranoid. Sometimes it's rubbed off on me, obviously. But it's another good reason why it's another good thing about me living very far away from that area. So, turned out a lot different than I imagined, but again, I feel really good that I was able to help my mother. And I'm still going to continue to, here and there. I'm going to help her try to, she's going to take a bunch of pictures of the furniture, and I'm going to make Craigslist ads for her. And maybe she can get a little something out of them, or just, if she knows someone's going to want to use them. Or maybe they'll want to sell them, whatever, but they'll be out of her house, and it's not going to be just her, practically taking them to the dump or to Goodwill where, so... It was good. This was a very good thing. I'm glad I didn't just go with the emotional reaction. I'm glad I really gave it some thought. As I said, I told her that I was ready to basically not even consider myself part of your family. That's how much what she did hurt. That's how much so many of the things she's done in these past few years has hurt. So I keep thinking about the, oh no, don't get work because you'll ruin your life. What do you mean? I want to improve my life. The thing about, well, if you get work, you'll lose your SSI, which wasn't true. I can make up to $1,024 a month and not lose the larger check. Let's see. And there's the Zyprexa thing. The Zyprexa that almost destroyed me, and I would explain over and over again what it was doing to me. And when I'm trying to get off of it, and I'm dealing with the withdrawal, really bad withdrawal, her advice almost every time was, oh, well, you should go back on Zyprexa. She knew that it had brought me almost to suicide. I mean, real suicide, where I'm planning stuff out. I'm, setting things up. But she still, oh, you should go back on Zyprexa. She's got some issues. She's definitely got some issues. The other thing is, I've told her that she needs to get out there more and be with friends. Well, and make friends and socialize so she can have friends. My grandmother did not... I think the other video I made on this was better. It was a little bit shorter, but I didn't go into as many details about other things. So, the other video, the one that I recorded right before this one, My grandmother didn't let my mom have friends. Flat out. God, my grandma was such a horrible piece of work. Controlling, manipulative bitch. I keep thinking about how when my grandmother died, she died of cancer. I was there at the last breath. And there was no remorse when she died. There was no remorse at all when my grandmother died. None. There was a bit of confusion as to the feelings. Most of it was, why don't I feel bad at all? Yeah, that's pretty sad, isn't it? That nobody had any remorse for my grandmother dying. So yeah, my mom really has a lot to learn. I had introduced my mother to Second Life, and it was the first time that she had really started to do some socializing. It changed her life. Second Life changed her life very much. And she finally started to realize that friends are a good thing. I reminded her in this conversation that, she had told me so many times that friends aren't worth the hassle. She knows that's bullshit now. She knows damn well that's bullshit now. We talked a bit about that. Quite a bit about that. So she's faced that, she's going to have to go to an apartment or assisted living. And even though she's apprehensive about the idea, she's going to have to go places like bingo and other places where older people are hanging out and give herself the chance to socialize. See, you've got to do what you got to do. There may be other places she'll eventually find, but she's got to start somewhere. She was becoming very, very, very lonely in that house. Lonely with just those memories, those horrible memories of all those years with my grandmother. My grandmother basically running the house and running my mother. She completely controlled my mother's life. So, I'm not really sure where more to go in this video, but I feel I really did the right thing. I feel really good about it. The thing I was going to do was really not the right answer, and it was not very humane. Now she knows that, I'm just going to be there to help her in those ways, and then I'm still not going to talk to her much. She knows this. I want to help her where I can. But these things where she was relying on me on in these certain areas, she knows just is not going to happen. She has to do this stuff for herself. I can't be her self-esteem. I can't constantly be her pep talk. Especially since, in so much of my past, she has never really done that for me. Most of my life has been a major demotivator for almost anything I want to do. It's always, don't do that, something bad might happen. So, it takes a certain amount of strength to be able to really want to do for my mother the things she never did for me. It's kind of hard. And again, I can't be someone's self-esteem. So I really do hope she does get out more. Since Second Life is not what it used to be. And her friends that used to go on there a lot are not going on there anymore. She's got to socialize. She needs to continue to learn to do the things she was never allowed to do most of her life. And for her, that's pretty hard. Being in her later 60s. That's pretty hard. I have faith in her, though, in that regard. I know she can do it. I know she'll get past all this crap. She hurt me really bad, but she herself is hurting really bad. So, anyway.